What's going on, traders? How we doing? It's the SPACs attack. You already know where you guys are at. Smash the like if you guys like the SPACs, and welcome to it. You guys already know where you guys are at. The SPACs attack is here. It ain't gonna fail. You guys already know, and welcome to the show. Today we got top SPACs for July. We're gonna be going through the calendar, so definitely hit the subscribe bell down below, and let's get the show started. What's going on, my traders out there? I hope you guys enjoyed the morning with me. I know that we had a great morning. We started going through the open. We had pre-market prep. We talked about patterns also on pre-market prep. So if you're here because of that, definitely let us know in the chat if you guys heard me talk on pre-market prep about these patterns that has been going on in stocks like FRX turning into body. We definitely are seeing a pattern here, so we'll talk about that. But let's bring on the brains. You guys know him as Chris Ketchy. I know him as Chrisopedia. What's up, my friend?
What's up, Mitch? What's going on? Yeah, great job trading into the open. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that. Hopefully everyone, has stuck around. We got great content all day long, pre-market prep, trading in the open, SPACs attack, power hour, get technical. There's more coming, guys. So stay tuned all day. But yeah, a nice looking day out there so far.
The SPACs attack, guys. We're here. We ain't going away. Definitely, we've been seeing some stocks making moves. We'll definitely talk about some of those. But let's go ahead and drop right into the headlines behind.
All right, guys. Yeah, so diving into headlines today, we do have a couple analyst notes out there. So up first, we have Bark. Parent company of BarkBox, which recently completed SPAC merger. Yesterday got a buy rating and a price target of $16 from Citigroup. Now, if you remember, Bark was one of those high flyers out of the gates during that de-SPACing process. This thing shot up to $13.50 and then it dropped all the way under that $10 level. We do have shares up 11% today. 1075, but according to this initiation, looks like more room to run. So definitely keep an eye on Bark here. And then another analyst note, we have STEM. So STEM. This is an energy storage company. It's gotten a lot of attention, from the SPAC date to even the de-SPACing. Traded all the way up over $50. Shares up 5% today. The news out that Credit Suisse has initiated coverage on the stock and outperform in a $48 price target. So as I said, shares of this thing hit over $50. We dropped all the way down to, about $16 in May, $16 even actually. And now we have shares at 36 and that price target of $48. So, this thing, if you were paying attention and had a chance to buy on dips, definitely a couple good opportunities there. I do like this company going forward. Energy storage solutions don't look like they're going away anytime soon. And then we have Genie, Geni. Got to throw it on the watch list. Once again, if it's not already there, Genius Sports. We've talked about this at length several times. The news I saw yesterday, or actually this morning, was that their rival Sportradar could file its IPO in July. Now, if you remember, Sportradar was actually in talks with the SPAC from Todd Boehly to go public, but instead it's going to go public traditional IPO route. So that was one of the catalysts I called out for Genius. I said, we have the upcoming college football and NFL seasons, and then we also will get this Sportradar IPO announcement. And what that's going to mean is we're going to get real good financials from Sportradar. And that's going to mean a real good chance to compare Genius to Sportradar to see, who has the better revenue profile, who has the better margins, and also maybe Sportradar in that filing, we can really see, how much the NFL deal meant to them that would translate over to Genius Sports. So definitely a catalyst to watch here. And one of the SPACs I called out recently, FTCV, which is taking eToro public. So eToro this morning announced first quarter commissions up 141% year over year, $347 million. New registered users up 214% year over year to 3.1 million. I mean, that's some insane triple-digit growth from the company. Net trading income, $269 million. That's up 72%, compared to last year. Their assets under administration, $8.4 billion. They continue to talk about the rise of the retail trader and how that's helping them, grow as a business, but, some staggering growth out there from the company. FTCV, definitely keep an eye on that one. And we have VOSO. This is Virtuoso Acquisition. So they're bringing Wejo public, which is a vehicle data company. So this deal was announced not too long, and then we get a new press release out today. Shares not really reacting a ton, but I want to put this one on watch. So the company announced partners Microsoft, Palantir, and Sampo Holdings, for connected vehicle data. So, Sampo is a leader in the Japanese market for insurance. And then also, Microsoft and Palantir, obviously huge names. They were also part of the pipe on this investment, and so was General Motors. So, this company is going public, and it has some strong backers. So Wejo has, pipe or regular investments from Microsoft, Palantir, Sampo Holdings, and General Motors. So this one definitely makes me want to take a look, as vehicle data can be used in the future. Now you have, Palantir, really, jumping into the vehicle data side of things with Wejo. So VOSO on watch. Then yesterday, our one deal, DFP8 shares ended the day up 0.3%, nearly flat on the day. The IACA merger with Taboola was approved. And then we got a couple new vote dates set, which, of course, we're going to talk about that July calendar later on. So NHIC setting a merger vote of July 15, ANDA setting a merger vote date of July 19. And then, as I said yesterday, I want to have NGCA on watch. So this is the company rumored to be taking Virgin Orbit public, in an exclusive talks with the company right now. So NGCA, tomorrow could move because we have Virgin Orbit taking flight. So they're going to send satellites up to space. Some of their customers include the U.S. Department of Defense and Netherlands Air Force. This event is going to be streamed to the public. So Virgin Orbit should get a lot of attention tomorrow. Takeoff time is scheduled between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Pacific time. So that would be 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time over here. So again, that could be a major catalyst, especially happening right around market open NGCA. Then we did have two deals announced this morning. The first one, a smaller one. So we have FSII. This is a biotech deal. So Pardes Biosciences values the company at $339 million. I don't know a ton about this company. It's preclinical trials. So they have a couple drugs that are targeting the coronavirus. Again, we're pre-phase 1 here. So just keep an eye out, but if biotech is your thing, definitely worth taking a look. And our second deal today, we have TREB. This is a digital advertising deal, and we've had a lot of those lately. The big thing here is this is a SPAC from Bill Foley, who took PaySafe public and several others. So definitely on the list after this. So this is taking System 1 public at an enterprise value of $1.4 billion. Expected to close in the fourth quarter. So System 1 provides an end-to-end responsive acquisition marketing platform for customers for its own products and its advertising partners. So the company's portfolio includes MapQuest, Info.com, and How Stuff Works, which get 27 million, 35 million, and 10 million monthly visits respectively. Total portfolio over 40 digital properties, 120 million monthly visitors. They also have 2 million active subscribers, which is a system that they want to grow, right, as their subscriber base. Financing from this deal is expected to help them boost that digital marketing platform. Also, they're going to acquire protected.net, which will boost their subscription revenue profile. International revenue, also another area of growth. So $23 million in the first quarter was international, which was about 12% of platform revenue. That's compared to only 5% and $9 million in the prior year. So international revenue growing at triple digits. System One had revenue of $580 million in fiscal 2020, projected for $763 million in 2021, $906 million in 2022. That's compounded annual growth of 31% from 2018 to 2022. Positive EBITDA of $80 million in fiscal 2020. So again, this is a real company with real revenue, real EBITDA. It does have that portfolio of over 40 brands. I mean, some of them well-known, How Stuff Works, Info.com, and MapQuest, but, not getting a ton of love out there. But again, this is a Bill Foley backed SPAC deal. So that's what I've got, Mitch. Headlines, those two deals, anything jump out for you in the headlines today?
Not in the headlines. I won't talk too much about the headlines. I mean, we could get into some of those, but definitely want to take a look at the watch list. There's a lot moving out there. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into our watch list. This is what we do every time, guys. So let us know in the chat if you guys enjoy us going through these headlines like we do every single day, because I mean, hey, if you guys are already in the news somewhere else, then maybe we don't need to give it to you. But this is why we do it. We try to get you guys those headlines. So let us know if you guys enjoy those headlines. So smash the like. Looks like we got over 300 people watching here. So definitely let's get those likes up. Let's get up towards 150 likes. Let's keep it going. Let's look at some of these watch lists and see where we could be finding some opportunities. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at the watch list. And one that I'd point out already is just take a look if you see RAAC start getting a move. This one could get moving towards the end of the market, end of the day, as we got the vote date today. So definitely keep your eyes on that one. A couple other ones that I want to mention there from our June calendar wrapping up. And then, of course, we'll get into the July coming up, guys. So stay tuned for that. That's what you guys are probably here for today. And that's going to be massive, massive value. But also NSTB, let's see if that one gets moving towards the end of the day. This one's hanging out at that 998. Going to be that merger with Apex. You also got APXT that has been pushing pretty well. So let's see if this one can continue. Nice sideways day right now. As long as it can continue sideways, hold that $12. I think this one still looks good. APXT looking interesting. HOL having a good day. That one had some news also, right, Chris?
Yeah, so HOL, that deal also getting close. That is this week. So HOL, that was one we actually called out yesterday, right? That not only is it a merger vote this week, but it's also a space stock where space is starting to, maybe come back into favor with that Virgin Galactic news and some of these satellite launches. We got Virgin Orbit launching satellites. Mitch, I also heard that SpaceX, getting ready for another launch here too. So, all these space stocks sometimes kind of trade in line with each other. So I think we could see, HOL trade well into this merger vote date.
Definitely. Let's start taking a look at some of the biggest movers today. I saw Playboy getting that acquire of Burdette for $333 million in cash and stock. I thought this one could move off of that news, and it got a lift today. So let's see if this one can continue back running, really holding those 40s really well. So we'll see if this kind of continues moving the stock, but definitely a major purchase there.
Yeah, that was a kind of a surprising move to me, Mitch, out of Playboy here, because they've really focused a lot on licensing and their consumer product, businesses. They haven't really, dove into stuff on their own. So for them to acquire this brand, I think it shows a little bit of a shift here. Because before, essentially Playboy was just getting, licensing revenue from other companies selling products, with their name and logo. So it looks like they have a plan, in the lingerie market, with this acquisition. We could obviously see the Playboy brand, translate well into lingerie, I would assume. So, I
why
think
not?
I think it goes together, right? So I think it was a wise purchase. Again, I was a little surprised just because, they're big on licensing right now, but market likes the deal up 10%. We'll see if this thing can keep running the rest of this week.
Yeah, one of the things is Playboy definitely has that iconic brand. We'll see if this one kind of keeps moving. Something that I'll definitely keep an eye out to see is how they really expand the business. We'll see it. It's interesting. Definitely an interesting acquisition today there. Bark making a move. We talked a little bit about that one. ATI Physical Therapy actually making a move up today off of that $9 support. So keep your eyes on that one. Nothing to really go crazy about. I think it's just a pop back. So keep your eyes on that. I saw Clove get a little bit strong, but not too much. I mean, it's only up about 5%. So not something that I'm really going to be mentioning here. This one I think could get hot. The CMLF really been hanging out at the top there. Infrastructure play. We could see this one really start moving. So it's an interesting play there, down by 13s, not by the $10. So it's a little bit different, but definitely hanging out there at the 13s. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Tattooed Chef had that announcement that it could possibly get into Target. Was it?
Kroger.
Yep. Don't let it get twisted. That's why I got.
Well, they're already in Target, so you
what
at
happens,
least got that part right. So
at least. All right, so let's keep going. Let's look at some other ones that are setting up. This one's an interesting chart, Chris, because we know that the Reddit names really picked up this one for a while. GOEV Canoe, but really super supporting off of that $10 price point. Actually, a little bit below it. You could think 1063s for the support. Let's see if this one can get back above $10 and really start holding. This one came from a push from that $8 price point. So I think it's either going to start pushing and get back up there towards 12, or it could crack the support there and head right back down towards that $7. All right, one that I mentioned yesterday that I'm going to keep on watch, could get going with the space stocks that you're starting to see the lift come into, is SRAC, Stable Road. Like Chris and we've talked about, trying to be the FedEx of the space life. So we'll see if this one gets moving. I do like that daily look. Now that you kind of have this kind of like cup sideways action, if it holds that support and rips through that resistance here, it could get towards this resistance up here at 1350 and really start moving. This one's an interesting one, SRAC. All right, Chris, let's go ahead and take a look here. What other ones stand out to you? Maybe you want to bring up one.
So I saw INDI, which I don't even know if we have on the watch list. This one recently completed the de-SPACing process. This is a semiconductor, a chip play, right? And it's getting a little lift today. And, this is one where, look at that. It dipped under $10, on the merger. And now we have that lift off starting a little bit. And Mitch, what do you think? Because it looks like volume pretty even, over the last 7 or 8 days. And now today, that volume starting to pick up. So what do you think? INDI, this is one I still own. I think, the semiconductor trade for vehicles, will be a continued story. And this is one of the ways to play it.
Definitely something to keep on watch out. One of the things is there's going to be a lot of these plays, and I haven't really seen too many SPACs in the semiconductors. I've seen more like let's say battery plays, charging infrastructure. This is an interesting one. Definitely keep it on watch. I think one thing you got to look for is some big volume really to step up here. Not bad trading on volume right now, about 1.2 million. I'd be looking for something trading at 3 million shares to just show you kind of that spike that bulls really are taking control of this stock. Not a bad day for TBA. I know that one's switching on over. It hasn't had a bad look. You see? It's not looking bad, up there towards 11.15. That's what we've been seeing often with these moves, Chris. I kind of mentioned it on pre-market prep that it's mainly not really, let's say, a 40% pop. But that's not what we're calling now. We're seeing more of this 10, 20, even some 30%, but mainly 10 to 20% pop. So we're talking from like 10 to 11 or 10 to 12, or maybe it's from 11 to 13s. Something like that is what we're talking about. We're not talking about massive moves, but it doesn't need to be massive to make a good profit. So I think that's something definitely to point out and keep a watch on. Let's keep a watch. on some other ones. Muds is just hanging out there. We'll see what happens with this one. I've been waiting for that card release news, Chris. I'm waiting.
Yeah, Topps needs some news, right? And
dude, the time is ticking.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, this one that it again has pulled back this much. But
I'm gonna call something out here.
What's that?
The sixth stands out to me, guys.
Is that based around All-Star game? Is that?
That's because that weekend it would be the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. One of the things we saw with Top Shot recently, right, NBA, was they actually did packs with playoff moments. How big of a catalyst can that be, right? When you have, playoffs, All-Star, with Topps having this exclusive deal, to do cards, to do NFTs. The other thing is, we have some rookies this year, starting to play, like Wander Franco just got called up by the Rays. There isn't, a Topps NFT of him yet. They need to do an updated series. They need to add some of these players in. Again, I really like Topps for the long term here. But that Muds, I'm just surprised we're really, just kind of trading sideways right now. But Mitch, I also saw someone asking about CLII. That's EVgo, which we had on the show recently. If you look at that June chart, as I pointed out yesterday, that thing went from, about 1050 all the way up to 16. Shares are about flat today. But these charging infrastructure plays, are starting to get hot again. We did just get the passage, of the infrastructure bill, that includes some EV charging, money. So CLII, called out in the chat. This is one I like. EVgo.
We'll keep it on radar for sure, guys. All right. If you guys got a SPAC you guys want us to take a look at, definitely mention it in the chat. Jordan's talking about, I think Jordan's still trading. Jordan's still trading. He said, dude, what about Plug, bro? You were talking about Plug this morning. Let me take a quick look for him. I feel bad. He hung out with us. He's watching SPACs Attack, even though I don't think he's trying to trade SPACs Attack. So I'll take a quick look. 5 minute. Look at that 5 minutes. It's coming back down towards the next support level. So you can see that bounce. I always look at the next support, right? So you got different support levels you can draw out on this stock and kind of see where it's going to. And the different levels here is what's important here. So if you can understand the levels, you can understand your risk. Not a bad looking pull back there, all the way back down towards this 5 minute support here, catching there at 34.26. Bouncing right back. Now you want to see it get back up here towards, let's say, 35, and then really start holding that trend. Because if you had this downward trend action here, one of the things is you want to get back above it and really start trending up so that you can get back towards that 36. That's it. That's all you get. But I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah,
right,
I saw someone mention Clean Spark in the chat too. Again, CLSK, not a SPAC, but kind of in that same, energy storage, energy, field. And Clean Spark actually will be coming up on Power Hour today. So guys, don't go anywhere after SPACs Attack. That's a big interview. So Mitch, should we dive into this July calendar, and then hopefully we can get to some ticker time at the end. So don't stop dropping those tickers in the chat, guys. We'll try to do some at the end here.
All right, definitely keep an eye on that. We're going to get into the June calendar. And like always, we're here from 9 a.m. to 4. We're past 4 even. So definitely stick around, Jordan. We have a lot of great content, not just on pre-market prep. We got SPACs Attack. We got so many different shows, biotech. Let's go ahead and let's get into that June calendar, guys. If you guys don't know, one of the things that we try to do is try to get you guys those calendar dates and kind of the way that we trade these. We've done certain shows like, let's say, SPAC under $10 that has done really well. So definitely, guys, if you want to check out those old shows, check out our playlist on Benzinga. You can see all our shows, our prior show. Hit the most popular one on those. Check out those episodes. You're going to see some great ones. We've done some really, really great ones in the past. Another one that we're going to be talking about. So today, what's the topic? We did this for June, so we really want to start doing this for July. So today we're talking about the top SPACs for July 2021. We're going to talk about these calendar dates and how they can definitely affect the stock here. So definitely, guys, smash the like if you guys enjoy this, and tune back, because this is going to be something that we can come back to all month long, guys. So stay tuned for this. Let's go ahead and let's get into that. Chris, what do you got for us? The calendar dates for this month.
Yeah, I think one of the big stories that we covered in June was to talk about those merger vote dates at the start of the month. And if you were able to get into some of those June vote dates, when we first mentioned them, they were trading, at $10 or under. And some of them had some real good moves the week of the merger vote date or after the de-SPACing process. Now, as always, not all of these are going to trade higher. So we're really looking for a good story here, right? And the ones that we think, could go higher. So the July calendar already shaping up nicely, and today's the 29th. So we're only a couple days away here. So time to look at the July calendar, and we'll revisit it throughout the month and also add to it. So up first, the first July vote date that I show is July 8th, and this is going to be SPRQ. So SPRQ merging with Sunlight Financial. So this is a solar play, financing for solar projects. The PIPE, $250 million, also included Chamath Palihapitiya, BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and Neuberger Berman. So some bigger names. And this was the Apollo SPAC, which also, previously took Fisker public. So the company provides business to consumer services for the residential solar market. So they've funded over $3.5 billion in solar loans on more than 100,000 residential deals. They have over 800 partners in their contract network. So 2020 revenue, $92 million, 2021, $123 million. So again, a solar play. And, I've heard Mitch, on several other shows call out solar, the growth of the solar market. It's something we were definitely watching, with the new administration. This is one where, I think we could get a play here on the de-SPACing. It will now trade in line with some of these other solar names. So definitely worth keeping a watch on this one. And we have RSVA. So RSVA voting on their merger with Enovix on July 12th. So this is a company working on designing and manufacturing of 3D silicon lithium-ion batteries. So they had an oversubscribed PIPE deal of $175 million that valued shares at $14. So this was one of the first ones, along with Lucid Motors, where the PIPE deal was actually done above the $10 level. So as you see that chart there, this one now is actually trading higher than it ever did, on that SPAC merger announcement. So this one really taking off now. And the thing I like is it's a battery company. It's not focused as much on the auto market, right? It's focused on, the mobile market, wearables, mobile communications, PCs, augmented reality, virtual reality. Intel and Qualcomm are customers of the company. So they're going to have revenue of $801 million in 2025. Again, that's a couple years away here. But this thing has been well received by investors. And as I said, it is trading higher now than it did on deal announcement. So definitely one to keep on watch here, that could really have a good de-SPACing process. Then on July 12th, we also have ASPL voting on a merger with WheelsUp. So shares are trading at $9.99, and this is one where I think could go, either way. We could actually see a dip below $10 on the de-SPACing. So this is a private aviation company. It does have some big investors involved. You have Tom Brady, Serena Williams, and others. But private aviation, I just wonder how big the market is and how big the investment appetite is going to be, from investors. Private aviation, again, it's targeted for, the people that can afford it, right? So this isn't a company that's really growing with a huge total addressable market. It's really tailoring to the celebrities and the business class. So this one, it's on the watch list, but not my favorite for the month of July. And then on July 13th, we have AONE, which is actually the company ONE, voting on the merger with Markforged. So shares of this one also at $9.99. So the pipe on this SPAC deal included investments from Porsche and Microsoft. So the company, this is 3D printing, and they're targeting aerospace, military, defense, space exploration, healthcare, medical, automotive, and industrial. They replace plastic, steel, and aluminum end-use parts with easy-to-print metals. So software, printers, and materials are their 3 lines of business. $70 million in fiscal 2020. Revenue to hit $88 million in 2021 and growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 68% from 21 to 25. They note in their presentation that they have better gross margins than Desktop Metal. And customers, also include, you've got Airbus, Lockheed Martin, General Electric, the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, NASA, Blue Origin, SpaceX, General Motors, Ford, Honda, Tesla, Toyota. I mean, the list of blue chip customers in this one is insane. But again, 3D printing, it's got lots of players in the market. This one has come down significantly. I think, again, this one, once it goes public, could get a nice move because it will trade in line with some of those other 3D printing names. What do you think, Mitch, of these first 4 in July here?
Caught me off guard there.
I didn't know if we were going to break it all at once or if we were going to cut in. So
you're good. Definitely keep it on watch, guys. So a couple of these that I'd keep on watch. Let's go ahead and let's get into that. So definitely ones that I'd like, I'd keep on watch. AO1. Just because that one's had massive support. I think even Kathy's in this one, if I'm not to be mistaken. So what I mean by Kathy, ARK Invest, guys. So keep your eyes on that. I'll keep watching that one. That's definitely the one that stands out the most. WheelsUp sounds interesting just because you have that line in the sand. And I like having the line in the sand because at least I have my risk. And so that one looks interesting. And then with that being said, I mean, RSVA, that was an impressive chart. Not something I'm buying into just because it's already breaking out, but definitely a big breakout on this one. So looks like some investors are liking this one, even if it's not retail because they're not following it, maybe because I haven't heard this one being mentioned too often, but definitely good moves there and good lift there. So we'll keep a watch out on all 4 of these. Let's go ahead and continue.
Perfect. And then we'll jump back into the calendar here. So we have on July 13th, we have LCY voting on that merger with Hillman Group. So shares trading at $12.47. This is going to be one of those sneaky, under the radar SPACs, I think, right? This is a hardware distributor. They sell fasteners, hardware, work gear, gloves, personal protection equipment, and they also duplicate keys. None of those business lines, jump out and scream, great growth. But this is a company that's been around 56 years, and they're a market leader in those segments that they, compete in. They also have products in over 40,000 locations, including the Home Depot and Lowe's. So they are a leader in the hardware segment. Lowe's and Home Depot do make up, a large portion of their revenue, but we've got a lot of mom and pop retail stores also in the hardware segment, the fastener segment. So this is a company, that, again, it's been around over 50 years. I just think this one sneaks under the radar, although it is trading, at $12. So not completely, under the radar there, but, and this is another one where it actually trades higher now than it did on the merger vote date. So definitely one to watch here. Then we have SBG voting on their merger with Owlet on July 14th. So we had Owlet on the show, of course, for an interview. That is the smart sock company, right? The baby monitoring. And they're growing in other segments of the baby market, which we all know the baby care market is huge, right? So they're growing, in digital. And as parents, embrace and see the technology that they can monitor, their baby's health, their baby's sleep. I think that's where you spend money, right? You spend money on your kids, you spend money on health to make sure everything is going good. So in their recent quarter, net revenue, $21.9 million, up 47% year over year. Gross margins, 58%. They saw volume growth in their Owlet Smart Stock and their Owlet Monitor Duo. They also saw stronger than anticipated sales for e-commerce and their retail partners, and also international expansion growth, primarily in Europe. So for full 2020, 75.4 million was up 51%. Gross margins 47.6%. So as I said, gross margins, have increased since then. They project revenue of $107 million in 2021, $175 million in 2022. Deal valued the company right around $1 billion. So SBG Owlet, this is one I like because, again, baby care, the baby market, this is where you spend your money. Parents are going to spend money. And this is one trading at $9.97 today. It's been under 10 for a while, but if you start to look, it has started, getting closer to that $10 mark. And I think eventually we'll be able to break that, heading in July with that vote date. Then we have on July 14th, we have EMPW voting on their merger with Holley. Another company that was featured on SPAC Attack, real customers, real products. This is the company making parts for performance cars. They're a leader in this $34 billion marketplace. Innovation, acquisition. They've done several acquisitions. They're eyeing more acquisitions to keep going. So they design, engineer, and manufacture products for enthusiasts who love their cars and trucks. So, I just talked about baby products, right? And how we spend money on babies. Another item that we spend money on is cars. And if you are a car or a truck enthusiast, you want the best parts for your vehicle. And that's where Holley comes into play. This is a company that's been around forever. They're, a huge direct-to-consumer sales channel. Fastest growing and highest margin method is that direct-to-consumer market. So that's going to help them grow. They're also going to be traded as ticker HLLY for Holley, which I think is decent for a ticker here. So definitely watching this one as we get closer to the merger vote. And on July 14th, we have GXGX. So this is the company merging with Cellularity. This one, it's not a huge one for me. I don't know it as well. They're developing the next evolution in cellular medicine by delivering off-the-shelf allogenic cellular therapies at unparalleled scale, quality, and economics. So again, biotech, just not my stronghold. So this one, I think we could see a nice move as these biotech de-SPACs have jumped depending on the float. But again, not one that is my favorite for the month just because I do not know it as well. Then we have NHIC on July 15th. So this is the company merging with Evolve Technology. So we had Evolve on the show. This is the company that does screening at, concerts, at venues, maybe airports. Their platform is 10 times faster than a traditional metal detector and can cost up to 70% less. So it doesn't require customers to empty their pockets or stand and wait, right? It uses artificial intelligence to pick out potential threats. So they had revenue of $4.3 million in fiscal 2020, expected to rise to $20 million 2021, $53 million 2022. They have several items, for their growth ahead. And the thing I like about this is it's a potential reopening play, right? As we see concert venues, sport venues, reopen. This is a company that could benefit, right? Because instead of having to touch people, for pat downs, touch people with wands, you're going to be able to do it, all through these machines. So these places, can buy these things and provide that safety level for their customers going forward. We also have Clear Secure going public this week, which is an airport screening company, which if that IPO is well received, we could see NHIC become a sympathy play here. So definitely keep an eye on that parallel trade as well. And then on July 15th, we have DCRB voting on their merger with Hyzon Motors. So Hyzon Motors, this is a hydrogen fuel cell heavy company. They began production of 15 zero-emission hydrogen fuel cell vehicles recently. They also have plans to build the largest fuel cell production facility in the U.S. So revenue for 2021, they see at $37 million, but then fiscal 2022, we really start to ramp up with $198 million. That's up 400%. You look at that chart, and this thing has come, way down from those highs when this deal was announced. Excuse me, even when it was rumored. This deal was done at $2 billion valuation. It's going to trade with some of these other hydrogen, these fuel cell, companies. So I think it will do quite well in the de-SPACing process. And on July 16th, we have FGNA voting on their merger with OppFi. This is the SPAC from the former TD Ameritrade CEO, Joe Moglia. We had OppFi on the show not too long ago. Company uses artificial intelligence and proprietary fintech solutions. So they target the everyday consumer that gets neglected. So they target 60 million consumers in the US that are employed, have a bank account, and make over $50,000 a year that are locked out of many financial products. So they launched payroll deduction services in 2020. They have other financial services. They're also launching credit cards, near prime lending, mobile banking, and point of sale lending and mortgage lending in the future. So revenue $323 million in 2020. Positive EBITDA, positive net income. They've completed over $1.5 million or 1.5 million loans of $2.3 billion over the last 9 years. And revenue expected to be $418 million in fiscal 2021 and $656 million in fiscal 2022. We've seen a lot of fintech companies go public, and I really like the profile of OppFi here, although I do worry a little bit about it getting, stuck with some of these other fintechs that just have not had those big moves up. So we'll keep an eye on that one, in July. One of my favorites in July, we don't have a definitive date, but they estimated a date of July 16th for THCB voting on a merger with Microvast. Now this is one that I own shares of. Oshkosh is an investor in Microvast. They're a partner. So we have seen shares of this company come down a little bit, on news that Workhorse was suing the U.S. government over that potential USPS deal. So that's the thing that worries me a little bit, is that it will trade down until we get news on that. But this is a company with battery technology that's already in vehicles. Unlike some of these other battery companies coming public that are a couple of years away, Microvast had revenue of $101 million in 2020. And they see revenue of $230 million in 2021, up 126%, and $460 million in 2022, up 100%. Again, this is one of my favorites for the month. If you look at that chart, this thing traded over $20. I could see this thing making a big move once the SPAC merger goes through. So definitely keep an eye out, THCB. Then on July 19th, we have ANDA, which was one I actually profiled last week. They are merging with Strive Foods. So Strive Foods, shares are trading at $10.42. So Strive Foods, this is air-dried meat products. So provide more protein than beef jerky. The things I really like, they have Channing Tatum as an investor. They have the Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert, as an investor. Their ticker is going to be SNAX, SNAX. This was also, a low value deal. So $170 million. So, and this is one that I think has room to run as retailers get, attention put on this thing, as they see, the social media following pick up, as they see Channing Tatum and Justin Herbert, doing commercials, talking about it. I think it really helps. Revenue in the first quarter, 6.8 million, was up 59%. Revenue in 2020 was 17 million. and e-commerce now representing 43%. They have a good relationship with Amazon where they sell their products, and then they're also, have their own e-commerce platform. So definitely one of my favorites in the month of July. And then on July 20th, we have GHVI voting on that merger with Matterport. This is a company that's gotten a lot of attention. It's been mentioned on CNBC by Josh Brown. So they use they provide 3D scanning of buildings. So it can be used by realtors. It can be used by museums and different places. That online services platform, a turnkey solution for enterprises in that global real estate market. Subscribers, 331,000 was up 530% in the first quarter. Annual recurring revenue now 55 million. Subscriber revenue up 84%. Total revenue up 108% in the first quarter. They're also expanding heavily internationally, which I think could be a key growth item. Revenue projected 123 million this year, 202 million in 2022. Another favorite here in the month of July. And then we have PSAC voting on their merger with Faraday Future on July 20th. Not going to get into this one too much because we just profiled this one. This is another electric vehicle maker really going after the premium segment. They have investments from Geely Automotives and also a city in China, which is going to help with their factory. 30 leading institutional investors. They plan on selling over 400,000 vehicles in the next 5 years. So that FF91 is the immediate focus of the company. And again, that's going to be tiered to the higher end segment. But in the future, they have the FF81 and FF71 with prices of 59,000 and 45,000 that could put them, against some of these other electric vehicle makers. And as you see that chart, this thing has been growing in interest. It's been mentioned out there as a popular one, so keep an eye out on this one. July 20th, we have RAAC voting on their merger with Berkshire Grey. This is a company that uses artificial intelligence for robotics and automation solutions. The pipe included Chamath and BlackRock. Company was founded by the former chief technology officer of iRobot, which I think is a pretty key here. Only 5% of warehouses are automated, which gives them a huge opportunity. And their customers mentioned in the investor presentation, you have Walmart, Target, FedEx, and TJX, the parent company of TJ Maxx. They have a pipeline of $1.7 billion in deals, which their backlog was only 100 million at the start of 2020. So it is growing, substantially, which is going to help with revenue. Revenue of 59 million in 2021, and then they see it doubling, 119 million in 2022, 248 million in 2023, and nearly $1 billion in 2025. So definitely on the watch list here. Automation of warehouses, a huge market. July 20th, we have TWND voting on their merger with QOMPLX. This is a leader in cloud native risk analytics. So revenue projected $141 million in 2021, 210 million in 2022. So again, their customers, looking for that data analytics from them. That's been a hot market, similar to like a Palantir here. To help customers make informed and intelligent decisions using those risks. This is one, again, I don't know a ton about, but I really think, this could be a strong one as it gets out of that vote, gets some attention from analysts, right? It's going to be in the cybersecurity, the insurance and finance markets, so covering several sectors. And then the last vote I have here on the calendar, July 22nd, it's the big one, everyone. We have CCIV voting on that merger with Lucid Motors. There's not a ton to add here, right? We have Lucid Motors. This thing traded all the way up to $80 pre-deal announcement. And then when the deal was announced, we saw shares come crashing down. But we've seen interest pick back up in this thing, right? And one of the big catalysts was getting that vote date. And you saw what just announcing the vote date could do. You heard Mitch talk about a trade, last week. this is one where I think now we get into the new beginning of this company, right? Day one starts now. The merger vote date, we're going to get the merger vote. We're going to get that de-SPACing. We're going to get the new ticker. We're going to get the CEO going on, CNBC and doing, several interviews. So, I definitely think this is one to keep an eye on. And again, someone mentioning bag holders, we are going to see that play in, as shares start to rise. Can it break through some of those key levels? But CCIV, Lucid Motors, it's going to be the big event in July. So keep an eye out on this one. Mitch, that's what I've got. That's just the July calendar. As of now, I'm sure we're going to get more dates added to it. But I know that was a lot of information. So what do you want to dive into? Any of those names before maybe we get to some ticker time here?
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk about some of those names, but one thing I do want to mention for the chat out there, if you guys want to get some of these names and get this calendar dates down, if you actually go to the description right now, guys, you're going to be able to actually just copy and paste all these dates that we just went through, and you can go ahead and just kind of keep this as a list for yourself. I wanted to give you guys this in the description. This is what we do here on SPACs Attack. We give you everything for free. If we really wanted to, I could just charge for that calendar itself. But that's not what we're about here. We're trying to build with you guys, so definitely check it out. Definitely also check out the Teespring store if you want to get one of these cool SPACs Attack shirts. We got a newsletter that comes out every single morning. So if you don't got that newsletter, definitely stick with that. One thing that I would mention is, Chris, I've been seeing commercials on which one? Owlet. Owlet to me is really starting to stand out, Chris. I don't know why, but something tells me that I should grab this one and put it into a long-term account. I'm not talking about maybe short-term approach here, because that might not be what it is. But to tell you the truth, what I've been seeing, and I've been seeing the news and a lot of things pointing out this. Of course, guys, we're talking about SBG here, guys. So Sandbridge acquisitions. Let's take a look at that chart. I do like the chart also. So let's take a look here. SBG hanging out off of that $10, right? One of the things that I would mention is I do think this product is going to get kind of have some really good adoption rate going into the next couple of years. One thing that we definitely got out of the pandemic is that we want to be able to monitor kind of oxygen levels, different kind of things like that. And it's consistent with, you guys have heard of like different kind of horror stories with babies. So I think this is one thing that you're definitely going to see parents adopt. Any technology that can keep their baby safe, I think parents are more than willing to go ahead and ship out that money, especially for something like this that can help them monitor their baby's health.
Yeah, absolutely. As a parent out there, and when we had the CEO of Owlet on the company, right, he said that was why he started the company. It was about having that monitoring, for your babies, and they're also, I think, going to grow. One of the keys he said, right, was that they're gaining customers and parents at the baby stage. What if they can expand products to the toddler stage, to be on as they keep those customers and those parents throughout the life cycle, kind of like your companies that sell diapers, right? They sell diapers, and then they also sell items further on into the life cycle of kids. That could be a great story with Owlet down the road. Guys, please smash that like. I see we're not even at 100 yet, Mitch. I just went through that whole July calendar, without even taking a drink. And we got to get some more likes out there. This July calendar, as you said, that's something we could charge for. But I want to provide that information for you guys, because I think it's some key catalyst out there.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like we even got some parents out there using the outlets. So definitely something that I want to keep on watch, something that I would invest in, a company I can believe in and what they're doing. And so a lot of times I look for these as my long-term investments. This just might very much be it. I might have to actually talk to the financial committee today, pull a board meeting with the board, our Overwatch committee, Chris, that we usually have. So I might have to call it together and say, hey, are we taking a big position in SBG? What do you think about it? I think my fiance would probably agree to that. So we'll definitely have to have a little bit of a board meeting. But yeah, that one stood out to me, Chris, and I just wanted to bring that one out. Of course, CCIV stands out. There's a couple other ones you can name, but definitely to me, I say keep this one on watch, and we'll see where it kind of keeps moving. Any other one you want to mention?
You know, I got into a couple of them last week, you know, talking about ANDA with Strive, you know, Channing Tatum, Justin Herbert. You know, for some reason, this one just stands out. It's a snacking company. You know, it's a alternative to beef jerky, more protein, as we see consumers, you know, look for ready to eat good protein, you know, food items. Also, I really like this was a deal done at $170 million. So I think it could have room to run, you know, instead of these SPAC deals that were done at, you know, billion-dollar valuations where there might not be as much room for upside. So that's one I'm watching. You know, CCIV obviously is going to be the big event, you know, of July. And also Microvast, one of my favorite, you know, battery plays out there, which I am long. Billy asking, what's the ticker for Owlet? That was SBG is the ticker right now. And then we'll have that July de-SPACing.
What's the ticker changing over to?
You know, that's a great question. I was just actually
I wonder if it's Owl.
That if they got Owl, that could be pretty cool.
Owl. There's already an Owl, Blue Owl Capital.
I'm trying to see if I can find the.
There's already an Owl at least, so I don't think it's gonna be Owl.
Well, they can't get that, so that's
maybe it's Owl L. Owl L. Owlet. There you go. We'll see what it means.
It's going to be OWLT.
OWLT.
All right, we'll take it.
Not the worst. Not the worst. All right, let's keep going, guys. What do you guys got in the chat? We can take a look at some of these stocks before we get on out of here. We got about 4 minutes left. We're going to be wrapping up today on time at 12 o'clock since we had a good show here. But definitely smash the like, guys. This is what we do every single day. So one of the things is this is the SPAC industry. And, of course, we're not just here for trades, guys. We're here to understand this industry and look at long-term investments also. So that's what we try to do here on SPACs Attack. So if you're just a day trader out there, then this might not be the best area for you really in the long term. But what you want to be looking for is there's still some trades in here that we're going to be able to find. We're going to point out some patterns that have been happening. That's why we just went through that merger date announcements and kind of giving you those calendar dates. But we also look at some longer plays. So that's what we try to do here. We try to do a little bit of mix of short, intermediate, and long-term investing here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart, see what we're seeing. If you guys got a stock we want to take a look at before we get on out of here, definitely put it up in the chat. But hey, there's some movement out there. When does Rice announce, Matt, man?
Yeah, that one I think still probably a quarter away from you know, getting an announcement.
This one's crazy how much it just holds, Chris.
Yeah,
down.
That one's been really good. You know, the other thing with Rice, right? That management team, they launched that second SPAC. You know, well, what's the second SPAC to go with Rice? It's RONI, RONI, which is still trading as units. So RONIU right there. You know,
RONI.
That could be an interesting one, right? Because it looks like this Rice team.
Watch on RONI.
This Rice team really got a good deal. So you know, interesting. You know, to see if they can land another good one. So you know, Mitch, the other one that really stood out for me and kind of surprised me was that other battery name, ENVA, was it, that is actually trading now above the SPAC price. You know, which we haven't seen. Or was it RSVA? RSVA.
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
Yep. So I mean, look at that. It's hitting all-time new highs now. Like you're not usually seeing that, right? The typical pattern, you know, is normally SPACs hit their peak. You know, at least the ones that announced months ago at that deal announcement day. But this one now hitting new highs going into the merger vote. So that's another thing to watch here. You know, Mitch, that was a ton of SPACs to add to the watch list here for July. And, you know, we're not even in July. That calendar is just going to grow and grow. You know, we saw that with June, right? We started the June calendar out with, you know, about a dozen names, and we ended the month with probably 30 deal votes. So, exciting times to get some of these SPAC deals done and also offer up opportunities for traders to play the catalyst here.
All right, guys, we'll keep a watch on all these. We got a lot of stocks moving, and we'll keep a watch to see what's going to be coming into play. There's always going to be some new ones coming out, so definitely keep a watch on those. I'll just give an honorable mention. PIPP, we still haven't heard anything from that one. Hanging out there at the 970s, not a bad looking chart there. If you look at the daily chart, you'll see kind of that sideways action. Exactly what I like seeing when you're going to go ahead and try to grab these off the support. You got this low to go off of. Right here, they have a low of 971, so you could kind of use that as your risk out right now. You'd be looking at a 3-cent risk for a move back up above 10, and I'd be looking for a move probably up towards 11 on a deal announcement. Even in pre-market, you might be able to sell into that move, so pay attention to that. That's one that I'm going to call out just to kind of keep one on radar.
That's a great one, Mitch. Real quick before we go, I'll call out one more, IGAC. This has been the gaming one that I've gone long with call options. Scientific Games, SGMS, announcing today that they plan on divesting their sports betting and lottery business via IPO or SPAC deal. Look for some of those sports betting SPACs that have not announced deals because there is now a company in play from Scientific Games. So that's what I've got, Mitch. Another great show. Everyone stay tuned. We've got Power Hour coming up next. As I said, Clean Spark, CLSK. I know that's one that a lot of you guys out there love. Zoli delivered. He's got the company coming on today, CLSK. So guys, don't go anyway. Stay tuned, Power Hour. Stay tuned, guys. This just could be a Reddit stock. Stay tuned, guys. You never know what can happen. Like always, guys, the SPACs attack.